Okay, hey guys. So, um, interesting. No, I know I did the live yesterday, but I promised to make more videos and lives for everyone. So here I am today doing another live for all of you, and I guess it's pretty fitting also since we have the cryptocurrency market relatively down, and I've noticed it also that my following has somehow adopted also to the way that I have been doing things. That I'm not just in the I'm not just in the stock market only solely, but I've been putting in more focus also in cryptos and NFTs as well. So I'll try to greet some of you first and then go through your questions. But I want to share what I believe is also the underlying reasons and why there's a lot of downward volatility right now in the market. We're 1 minute in, but we already have 207 people joining us. This is a combined live session in YouTube and Facebook. So I want to greet some people first. RJ Rivera, good afternoon to you. Si RJ, unang-una siya. By the time I clicked the live button, he already appeared. We have Jacques Banania from YouTube, Ralph Adrian from Facebook, Joseph Portaliano. Very, very good question. Who's asked, and I'll try to address that later as well. Will this downward movement just be temporary? Then you also have R. Leong using Facebook. Good afternoon. Ralph Adrian, good day to you. Si Aries Baloran, hello, hello. Every time I see Aries, I always remember what I owe him. Hello, Aries. Justin Campo, hello, hello to you. Um, Kerby Denilla, when do you think NFTs will go to the moon? Aren't they moving up already? And NFTs have done really really well the past few days, and I'm not sure if you've seen a, a previous data analytic disclosure that I just forgot the volume, no, but there was a very very large amount of volume in OpenSea that got transacted in a single day, and we've seen at least a tier one NFTs from Bored Ape Yacht Club, Cool Cats, Gutter Cats, Dead Fellas, Doodles do very well. Even Crypto Morris is one around. The last time I checked, it was around 1.3 ETH already, and during the Halloween season, it was around zero point 0.1 ETH. It was around zero point 0.1 ETH. So we've seen the good projects really do well. I just want to address this also that similar to cryptos and similar to businesses that um, not a lot of NFT projects will make it. As much as we want everyone to make it, WAGMI, but as much as we want that to happen, in business, in life, in investing, in stocks, not every project will do very very well. So it will be the ones that probably have a good team, have good marketing, have a loyal base of customers, clients, community, and I guess the project overall is just really really good. So there. Nico Bag hit asking for my thoughts about XRP. Um, Richard Caballero, sir, ano magandang bilhin ngayon? That's not what we normally do in this channel. So if you notice it, I just want to share this for people who are joining me just now or have not really heard my entire thesis on the videos that I have been creating. The whole reason why we do videos like this is to give information, to cause you to think, to strategize, and to analyze on your own. The whole goal of this is that we teach you how to fish on your own, not catch fish by your, not to give you fish. And I and what works for me, what I would like to buy, is pretty much based on what I understand, what my risk tolerance are, what makes sense to me. And I want to say this that yung magandang bilhin, it should be based on what you've studied. It should be based on among all of the cryptocurrencies out there, that's what you understand the most. That's what you understand fully. So that in times like this, where there's a lot of volatility going on, you won't be scared. So that in times like this, when there's a lot of downward push, and then every time there's a downward push, with it there will always be fear, uncertainty, and doubt that will always be part of it, that will always be part of every equation, not just in the crypto markets, but in a lot of asset classes. That every time it's down, that's when you will see all of the bad news start also to pile up and cause people to panic even further. And that's why it's so important that what you're invested in is something that you believe you have an edge, that you know more, or you've spent a lot of time building the conviction around it. So there. So for Kevin Chua asking about my thoughts about SLP, please backtrack to the video yesterday. I made another live stream video that's available both on Facebook and YouTube. You can just check it out. I think it was posted almost the same time, but somewhere around this time. So you can just check it out. I gave my thoughts about SLP there on why it's and what's causing somewhat of the selling pressure that's happening to SLP. Uh, okay. Good. There's a comment here from Rui Lanyo. He's from Facebook naman. Comment pala below also. I want to know from what cities or countries are you from? What I've noticed also, especially for YouTube, not for Facebook, but for YouTube, it's been diverse from different areas around the world also, and I just want to see and know um, where you guys are from. So for Doge, no. So for Axie, I mentioned bits and pieces of it yesterday, but ultimately the success of Axie, you always treat so guys, my bumabangs na ako. Primarily because I don't want to go to a barber shop or a salon right now. As you all know, cases are spiking up, so that's why the hair is long. But anyways, the ultimate success of Axie is predicated on the game, and the success of the game will be based on how much people are playing, but not just that, how much people stay loyal and keep playing, that they actually enjoy the game and they actually like it and they'll actually stay with it. Because a very, very good point about games, that the entire utility of games is something that is playable, is something that people will like, that even if you're not paid to do it, you like it. So as long as Axie maintains that, or there will be a large group of people that see Axie as something that's enjoyable, then oh okay, I'm enjoying playing this, but I'm also getting SLP while playing it, then it will thrive. I think what needs to be talked about also is over the next few months, maybe years also, there will be a lot of competition. And similar to any game out there, so let me give you an example. I'm not sure if you remember this, but it shall reveal my age. I'm 38 years old right now, but when I was younger, uh, there were games like Contra, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Then suddenly technology also evolved that, oh, wow, I can actually play Street Fighter. Oh, Street Fighter, now there's Mortal Kombat. Suddenly, with technology also advancing, graphics getting better, competition starts to get bigger. So at the end of the day, how good the games will be, it will predominantly be dependent on number one, when there's new competition, what is the game doing to actually evolve so that players who have been there will still like it in the presence of competition. I think that's something that's not talked about because it's not in a vacuum. We're not in a vacuum right here that it's either Axie or nothing else. There will be a lot of games. In Solana, Geno Pets is there. Um, in Avalanche, you have Imperium Empires. In BSC, there's so much games in BSC as well, and Ethereum-based games. Even DeFi Kingdoms, which is in Harmony, they're taking out eyeballs and also attention, which used to be purely on Axie Infinity. Now, for Doge, so it's what was interesting about that is it was predominantly based on Elon Musk last year. The whole narrative of Dogecoin was Elon Musk, then Mark Cuban accepting it in Dallas Maverick games. What happened at some point last year was Elon Musk, and then Vitalik, I believe, is also part of it. Um, they started to build something off of Dogecoin. I don't know what it will be yet. Maybe in the next live sessions we'll be able to talk about that. But what's interesting, because of the development that has been happening there, sorry, because of the price action, the large market cap that has been happening, it created a framework where people got interested about it to push it further and to build something on top of it. So ultimately, its success as a coin will also predominantly be based on uh, what its use will be. Will it just be a medium of exchange? Because from where we are right now and what we're seeing also even for Dallas Mavericks or people thinking that they want to accept Doge as payment in their facilities, that's what it is. But if you notice it from the other tokens and coins right now that are pretty much really doing well, they're either a decentralized application that's built off a blockchain that has applications in finance, in NFTs, or gaming, or they're the underlying layer one solution itself. So it's not just anymore a game of a medium of exchange, because all of those other tokens, all of those other uh, crypto slash coins that have underlying blockchains, you can all use them as a medium of exchange. So I hope this is helping. Anyways, let me drink again. If you've been following me, I mentioned that I need to drink every time I do videos because of my throat, and that's why I stopped doing it for a while also, just to protect my voice too. So anyways, before I continue, by the way, super, super, super big favor, especially for those who are on Facebook. For sure yan, there will be someone in the comment section na Marvin Germo, fake account, giving away free Bitcoin, free Ethereum. Guys, that's not me. I'm not giving away Bitcoin or free Ethereum. I also won't put a comment na inbox me. I won't do that. I normally won't initiate contact as well. So those are pretty much scammers. Super favor, if you see it in the comment section, if you can report all of them, let's mass report all of those scammers, please. Thank you so much. KL Invoker, Godspeed, Godspeed to you too. John Lawrence Orbe, Martin James Tolentino Good, day, Boss Marvin. Any thoughts on VUSD release? This is interesting because if you notice it, it's been a battle of stablecoins. A lot of the major chains have been creating their own stablecoin as well, and I really have to look. I really have to look into this first. I really haven't had the time to study what makes this actually different. But you could treat it primarily as how you would treat other stablecoins, and it's an area where you could either transfer your crypto while there's volatility, or it could be an area where you just stash it in there first after you sold something, waiting for the next buy. Or if you're already just in the VeChain ecosystem and you want to transact in and off of that, I think that's where the value of that will be. I haven't really looked into it yet because so you know, yung approach ko no for stable coins, I pretty much look at four stable coins. Sorry, my mic got unplugged. Um, USDT, USDC, BUSD, and USD. So among the four that I mentioned, the most liquid and the one that is used the most, the one that has the largest market cap, the most transactions, and I'm sure you all know it, it's USDT. So the ones that I have in exchanges, the ones that don't really stay long as a stable coin, it's pretty much in USDT. However, the ones that I'd like to store longer, Then that's where USDC and VUSD would also come in. And lastly, USD is interesting because it's not pegged and backed up similarly by assets, US dollar or other cryptocurrencies. It's relatively highly connected to Terra slash Luna for USD. And then you can also stake it for around 19-20% for at the very least for USD. So there. But that's a good assignment for me. I'll try to somehow spend the time also to learn more about VUSD. Thank you so much for that. Um, Okay, Czerina Caldera, thoughts on the maximum potential support on BTC, or is it gonna go up? Um, Very, very important for people who are watching this, and what you need to realize while you're trying to analyze cryptocurrencies, especially, it doesn't really change it. You have to define what your main approach for this will be. Are you in it as a are you in it as an investor? Because I keep saying this over and over, and I keep repeating myself talking about this because if you're a trader, then um, ultimately support and resistance is very, very important and how you define your buying and selling. That will be pretty much the game. If you are an investor, then your parameters will be different. The level of adoption, the number of wallets that are being opened, transacted, and created for it, and then the network effect that's happening. Who are the countries, the companies, the institutions, the sovereign funds that are getting into it? So there's one thing that's true and inherent for Bitcoin is that uh, no matter what volatility is there, um, the technology just doesn't change it. And what we're getting into for cryptocurrencies is really the technology. And on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, uh, we can't predict where it will be. No one has a crystal ball to accurately say that by 6:02 p.m. on a Saturday, this is where the price of Bitcoin will be. However, I want to say this that if you open your charts, then look at the BTC USDT chart, and then you interlace certain moving averages there, like the 7-day moving average, 25-day moving average, the 200-day moving average. All of those three moving averages are above the last price, that is a daily candlestick chart of Bitcoin, which is denoting that Bitcoin, from a moving average perspective, is relatively bearish. Then you can open the chart also for and put MACD below, and you can actually see that the MACD of Bitcoin right now is currently below also the zero line cross of Bitcoin of the MACD, denoting that it's relatively bearish. Now that being said, um, one thing that's currently holding Bitcoin right now is it's in oversold levels, and it's starting to cross up from that on the daily time frame. However, what I want to submit to all of you is this. There's a support level at the very least for Bitcoin at the 40,500 mark, which it revisited very, very quick no last December 4, and which it stayed there for somehow maybe a week, September 2021. So it hit the 40,500 mark last December, intraday bounce. Then it went around that level also somewhere around September, the last week of September, somewhere around my birthday, around September 23, leading into the last week. So since that time, we haven't dipped below the 40,500 mark. However, if that range does not hold, next possible support level could be around the 37 to 38,000 mark at the very least for Bitcoin. So I want to say this that from a trend standpoint and from a moving average and MACD standpoint, majority of the indicators that you have right now are relatively bearish. The RSI is in oversold levels, and giving you a cross up for those who attended their stock smart sessions. We know how to set that up also, especially if it hovers off a level of support. But ultimately, it will always go back to support and resistance. If the 40,500 mark does not hold, then your possible narrative will be 38,000 plus, somewhere around that. You have Alan D from YouTube. I need to drink again. We have Alan D from YouTube. Good afternoon to you also. Um, Adrian Onyal. I mentioned about this SLP at some point in this video, and then please revisit the video yesterday. Um, so, is it time to buy ETH? That's an interesting question. It depends on what you are looking at it for. If you're looking at it from, is it relatively cheaper from where it was a couple of weeks ago? Then from 4.7, 4.8, it's lower, and that actually means if you're putting in, say, 33,500 US dollars, then now you get to have more than one ETH already, as compared to a couple of months ago. 3,500 US dollars doesn't even get you one ETH. So if your goal is to get more ETH at a relatively cheaper price, then it's relatively cheaper now. However, it depends also on what you're willing to take it. And the reason why I say that is this. Uh, you will always buy cryptocurrencies based on the level of conviction that you will have, based on how much you understand and you know it, and based also on the plan that you have. What do I mean by that? If you are in it to trade, and then you're looking at the chart that it still looks from a trend perspective are relatively bearish, and you want a legit reversal from the charts, then the name of the game is to wait until the chart will give you confirmation from either moving averages, MACD, or you plotting those trend lines or putting in support and resistance. When you see bounces off of that or reversals off of that, that should be your signal. If you're in it for investing, and there's another way to approach this also and look at this, that uh, what if you needed to buy an NFT? And I think that's one of the most interesting things uh, about ETH is not, there are people who buy it and hodl it. There are people who buy it and also stake it. But there are other people who buy it because that's their only way that they get to buy NFTs. So for some people also, that their main narrative is they want to use it and they needed to buy the NFT right now, they have no choice at whatever price level they buy it. So to answer that question is, it depends. Are, what will be the exact use case for it for you? And are you actually buying it also right now? And what will be your holding period? And there was a very, very interesting tweet that I saw earlier today that, as you already know, that the cryptocurrency market is very volatile. There will be massive volatility, and that won't go away because it's still very, very new. Not a lot of people understand it. But if you're feeling a bit anxious right now, if you're feeling a bit uneasy, the biggest explanation to that is maybe if you put in money that you weren't prepared to take in the volatility, because it's easy to put in money when times are good, when you put it, and then for example Solana, at some point Solana last year was, of course it was massively cheap at the early stages of 2021, but there was a point just a couple of months ago where it was 40. Then suddenly around September, hit 100. A few weeks after that, hit 200, corrected to 150. A few weeks after that, pushed up back to 200, hit 240 plus, etc. And now it went back to around 150. Um, the reason why I'm saying that is this: uh, when you believe it's gonna go up and everything is so bullish, it's so easy to put more than what you should actually put in. But you always have to think about what happens when it's not as bullish as what I think it is. That the entire thesis of me wanting it to be bullish, that's not what the entire market is thinking. What I'm saying is this: when volatility comes and you put in money more than what you can handle or more than what you can accept, that's where people become uneasy, and that's where panic also happens. So the best thing that I the best thing that you could do, and aside from doing your research, studying, building a conviction, is, and I'll never get tired to say this, and this feels like the most boring thing to say, but please only put money that in the midst of volatility you won't be scared. Put money that even if it drops, you'll be okay. That you won't blame anyone, that you won't feel sad, and you also won't panic. That will allow you to stick to your plan, regardless if you are a technical trader, regardless if you're a speculator, or even if you are a long term hodler or investor. So, there. Hello to you, JR Gallan. Hello, Flora. What's my favorite reversal pattern? Moving averages and MACD. I've been very consistent about that. Um, Even if you watch the other videos, or even if you attended the seminars that we had. By the way, no, the seminars are just pre-recorded Zoom sessions na lang. I actually thought that I was thinking if I had the time to actually do more live sessions, but um, things have been changing also. It's a different season in my life that I need to focus on other things. So those who are on YouTube, just check it out there. We have a full technical analysis deck. It's I think for it's I think 40 plus hours, 50 plus hours of the basics of technicals up until indicators, and sharing my thesis on technical analysis. But uh, from the seminars to the books, the thesis never changed. That I like moving averages, and I like drawing my own trend lines and waiting and being patient and looking for reversals off of that, and then using also MACD to somehow confirm what's written there. So it sounds plain. It sounds it's not the most. There are a lot of more, I would say, highfalutin technical indicators also, or at least newer iterations of it. But please do note that I started investing more than a decade ago, and a lot of these other new tools that are there, I don't even use automated filters. I manually check everything myself, because that's what I grew up with, and that's what I've been using and knowing from the start as well. Um, Skype certified. Yeah, please put it down below also what your exact questions are for Ada and Polkadot. But if you want a broader approach on the explanation, I had, I have several videos on YouTube on Ada and Polkadot as well. Mark, I answered this already. Gary, hello to you as well. Ai, hello. Ai Lapides Ambatali. Chong Sueso, hello to you. From YouTube, we have Edgy Boy Sarmiento from Arizona. Arizona. Phoenix Suns. Oy, Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, I think, will rival my Golden State Warriors for the finals. So I think for the conference finals in the West, I think no, it will be the Phoenix Suns versus the Golden State Warriors. Just my guess, but don't take it from me. Medyo bias ako. So, anyways, um, John CMTV, sir, po ba bumili ng stocks ngayon? The answer to that is also the same as cryptos. It depends on your plan. If from your plan and your strategy buy signals are already emerging, then even if cases are rising, uh, Fed has stopped. There's threats that they might stop the money printing, they might taper, and then inflation is high. Then you have what was happening also in Kazakhstan right now, which highly affected Bitcoin mining, etc. Uh, but the company that you want to buy, the fundamentals are there, or you recognize from the chart that buy signals emerge, then it should be okay. So uh, let me rephrase the question, and what the way you should do it is based on the characteristics of me buying certain stocks. Are buy signals there? Because if the buy signals are there, then I should start to buy, something like that. Anyways, uh, hello John. Good afternoon to you. Uh, so Sandro Miranda, that's a good one. So for those who don't know, I assume Sandro, you're talking about the mining in Kazakhstan. For those who are watching this and don't know, the largest mining right now, that so at the start of 2021 it was still in China, but because of everything that went on in China last year, a lot of them migrated west and went to the US. And as they went to the US, suddenly North America emerged as one of the largest crypto mining facilities in the world, where there's a lot of green energy there. However, the second one is Kazakhstan, and this is the pretext of Sandro Miranda's question, where what are my thoughts on it? Because there was no internet, it highly affected mining, which will bring hash rates down. So, two things. Number one, uh, if this gets resolved, mining will continue there, hash rates will go back up. Second is if this doesn't get resolved, or at least the operators feel that it's a threat to them, or this uncertainty does not look good, then there will be a transition again, and I believe they may go again to the US, which right now is really emerging as the top hub uh, for mining in general, or for Bitcoin mining in general. So there, this directly affects hash rates for Bitcoin as a whole. So there, Sandro. Um, Nick, hello to you. Christina Agbuya, hello. Peter Zerso, hello to you as well. Ernest asking about XRP. Ernest, I explained, or at least answered that from a video yesterday. So just backtrack the live session that I did yesterday, or in YouTube. It's easier to spot in YouTube because all of the videos are tiled together. Chong, I talked about Axie. Hello, Princess from CTO. Uh, Monica, Dagger Friend. Aminu Usman, have you heard of our room token? Not yet. Can you tell me more about it? Put it in the comment section below. But I haven't really tracked it. Uh, Val Dishay, hello to you. Uh, Christopher Zurk, hello to you as well. Um, Hello, sir. Any thoughts about Matic when 2.0 will be live already? That's very interesting. Um, we have a video that's coming out in YouTube at 8 p.m., which is very controversial and very interesting also, which will somehow talk about Ethereum's dominance. And it's part three of my interview with um, Tasha Shea. She's one of the top macro slash crypto analysts here in the world. But I asked this question. Um, all of this layer 2 scaling solutions on top of Ethereum, all of this alternative layer ones from Avalanche to Solana to Near to FTM, um, their dominance, or at least them rising, is pretty much because of the scalability issues of Ethereum. So, Tasha raised a very, very good point that when users are comfortable with Solana, with Avalanche, with Polkadot, with FTM, with Algorand, or even with Cardano, and then also they've been using Matic as well, and then programs have been built on top of it. When Ethereum goes to 2.0, it doesn't mean that they will rush into it. and she said something very interesting. If you are used to using something for quite some time already, just because something gets fixed elsewhere, it doesn't mean that you're gonna rush back into it. So it will really depend on consumer behavior, on on how people will react. But initially, I was also thinking that okay, if E 2.0 happens already, then proof of stake, gas fees won't be there anymore. There's sharding, so transactions would be faster, fees would be lower, and it would be good for Ethereum. But ultimately, and comment below if you guys use OpenSea. I want to know if any of you guys have been there. Allow me to drink also while I'm waiting for your answers. But if you notice it, uh, there are options there where you can take Ethereum, Polygon, and these railways, these chains. Uh, Most of the end users really don't care. And I like an example that I heard in a podcast that when you use your phone, right here, you don't really care anymore what cell site is it connected to. What you value the most is as long as you get to make that call, as long as the text pushes through, as long as if you connect to the internet and then that website will load, that's what matters to you the most. But you don't actually care anymore what route it will pass, because it's a layer underneath. So uh, ultimately, if dApps will be built that a lot of users will be using on top of Matic, uh, and a lot of people will stay there and remain there and use it, then I think they will still have a share in the pie. So of course no one has a crystal ball on how it will be, but I guess that's how I think of it, because initially I was also thinking that when it is back, uh, I won't use. Oh, here's a good analogy that I realized. And comment below if you think this is a good analogy. So, for those of you who are in the Philippines, we have one very very long expressway, the South Luzon Expressway, SLEX, and the problem with SLEX is it has only 3 lanes. So what did they do? SMC built a layer 2 scaling solution called the Skyway. That in this Skyway, uh, you get to travel faster because the bottom layer is congested. Now suddenly, the layer one here becomes how do I say this? They undergo EAT 2.0, meaning from 3 lanes they make it 8 lanes. So what does that mean? It suddenly becomes a larger capacity, and people can also uh, travel faster. But there will be a segment of people that are used to riding this and traveling here. That even this is fixed already or available already, but they've been using layer two for quite some time. Uh, that you would still see traffic and transaction there. That was a good analogy. I'm trying my best to explain this in a way that gives value to you, and that's one of the biggest challenges for crypto. It's so fascinating. But the reason why I love doing videos like this is um, I want to translate it into a way where those who are not into it understand it for its true core and value, that they actually start investing in it, or they actually start at least giving it a chance, that they study. So that's my thesis towards Ethereum, Matic. Okay, we're now at 40 minutes. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. Paul John, hello to you. Serena, Neil TV. That's a very, very long discussion on the future, but please go to my YouTube videos, lengthy discussions on the future of it. Ayan guys, ito yung scammer. So, please especially to those of you guys who are on Facebook, this is a scam post. uh, Please make sure. I just want to reiterate this to everyone that whenever you see something like this is not me. Unfortunately, I can only delete, but since it's same name as mine, I'm not sure why Facebook is forbidding me to block it myself, but other people can actually block it. So, um, I I like to ask for those who are active in Facebook. Every time you see this, please ignore. Please tell people about it that I won't be giving 1,000 Ethereum to people. Uh, that's a large amount of money to be given away. But anyways, this is a scam. Please block and report as well. Okay. This is a good question, and probably I'll end this Q&A with this. Is the 4 year bear market cycle true, sir? So it's not actually a 4 year bear cycle. It's a 4 year Bitcoin halving cycle, meaning every 4 years, uh, when miners mine, what they actually get as a reward of BTC gets cut in half. Meaning, as it gets cut in half, what people would get or what miners would get would be lesser. And in essence, it creates scarcity. And since it creates scarcity, um, it should, in essence, uh, give you more value because you're getting lesser of it. So meaning, just think about it this way: pizza pie, 8 pieces. Suddenly they just give you four. That four right now should be more valuable because there's a limited supply of it. Because not a lot of people could actually get it. Or you have 8 people sharing one pizza pie each, but suddenly you now have four pizzas left or four pizzas available, but 8 people want it. Those 8 people will be spending a lot of time trying to buy it, and thus supply and demand. More buyers bring the prices up, and it pushes the prices also to go higher because more people would actually buy it. Now, back to the halving cycle. What normally happens, at least from the past, is after the halvening, it pushes up. Then there's a period of time where it drops, consolidates a bit. Then, as it moves closer to the next halvening cycle, it starts to push up again. Um, that was the case a couple of years ago. Here's what's so interesting, and this is just my belief. There's so different belief systems in cryptocurrencies that um, I think there's a lot of institutional money now inside. I think that El Salvador, being a country with a central bank who's also buying it, and given that there's so much supply also that's put out versus the amount that's being mined, versus a couple of years ago, there were lesser there was lesser supply outside, and there was more being mined. That the effect of what's being mined highly impacted the supply. Right now, because there's more already out there versus what's being mined, I think we're already close to 19 million now. So for those who don't know, there's around 21 million Bitcoin BTC out there in total. That will be the total number of BTCs ever. We're close to 19 million. That means there's just 2 million left to be mined. And my thesis on that is the impact of that 2 million versus the 19 that's already out there isn't as drastic anymore. And as I mentioned, also institutions. And third is it's pretty much driven also by, since it's out there already, supply and demand. So supply and demand could be triggered by negative news items like what we're seeing right now, the one that happened in Kazakhstan, the tapering, interest rates, inflation, then this variant also spiking all over the world. It's a combination of that. And you can also add to the mix, since it's market driven, um, people who are buying futures, people who get liquidated, people who invested in spot early on that are making money and also want to take profits. So this is just my opinion. I think it has a lesser effect right now as compared to a couple of years back. So there, I hope you guys learned a lot from this. I have to end this also because we're now at the 45-minute mark and my throat is kind of hurting already. So what I'm gonna do just to end this so that to be able to honor also those that sent comments also. Dadaan ko lang to dito so that you also see your names and your comments here as well. But essentially, I'm gonna end this video already. Thank you so much to everyone who has been part of this live in Facebook and in YouTube. It's always an honor to be part of your journey. So yun. Thank you so much to everyone. Uh, God bless you all. And there. Medyo I think there's a lot pa. There's a lot there's a lot of new comments, but I won't be I'll give a few more minutes so that everyone gets to see it. At least you get to see your name here also. There. Uh-huh. So medyo madami. I don't think I'll get to finish all of this, but so you see your names again. Let's do this now since it's a Saturday naman. So that everyone sees their name, all of those that posted and gave an effort to this. I'm gonna try s- tapos 1 hour pala to. No? It's a lot, guys. So I guess that's it. You guys are dropping already, but thank you. I'll try to read some of them, but stay tuned. 8 p.m. tonight, my regular YouTube upload is coming. It's dropping. Tasha Shea, part three. Thank you, everyone. Hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all. Bye, everyone.